What's up, everybody, to the inaugural episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. I practiced that. I stuttered so many times. For some reason, I couldn't say inaugural episode without stuttering. Anyways,
It's hard to
you
listen
got
to.
myself, Austin. You got Matthew Fogone.
Yeah.
And you got Juan D. Swan. He's the top one. And then we got the bottom is Fogone. Yeah. The inaugural episode. That's the second successful time that I said it. Proud of myself.
Beep, 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 pew.
Make sure you jump in while you can. This will be uploaded May 2022. So if you join we're dubbing it the Mad Mob. Spicy. Mad Mob.
I love it. Sounded great, yeah.
All right. Join the Mad Mob. Be the first boots on the ground. Then you can brag about it later whenever we get Begley out of his basement.
Yeah. Or at least finished in some drywall on that.
Give me some sheetrock, yeah.
No, we're
It's cold in the winters here.
We're shooting for a studio. I have weird things in my background, and Goni's in his kitchen, so we're shooting for a studio.
Goni's definitely in pajama pants right now, aren't you?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
If you see me with a hat on, I definitely haven't showered in over 24 hours. Mowed the yard today. I'm swampy. You know what? I still sat down, and here I am.
Let's talk football. Real men.
This is Smell-O-Vision.
Yeah.
Boys, the first episode, the NFL draft just happened. Some spicy picks, some head scratchers. How y'all feel about it? How y'all feel about the immediate rookie impacts? We'll talk about redraft formats first. So what rookies do you think can make an immediate impact, like in a redraft format? Who are you looking to pick up to either that you might think is a WR2 or even guys that are just like decent flex plays? I'm not talking like I want to know who you all think are going to be starting, not the handcuffs that depend on injury. Like who do you have your eye on to help you win your redraft championship this year? One.
Let me defer to the Italian stallion on this one. Go ahead, football.
All right, this one's an easy one for redraft, man. You have to go with Drake London. Drake London out of USC. He went to the Falcons. The man is practically the number one there just by default, even just coming out without having an NFL snap to his name. He's coming in. He's got Auden Tate. He's got Damiere Byrd. He's got Kadarrell Hodge to deal with in the wide receiver room. He's going to get peppered with targets. There's no one there. I mean, you have Kyle Pitts. You have Cordarrelle Patterson, who's going to siphon some targets away from him. I know you have Marcus Mariota throwing the rock, but
is it going to be Marcus?
What is it?
Is it going to be Marcus?
Is it going to be?
Do we feel like it's going to be Marcus at the start of the season?
Yeah, I do. I feel pretty good about it.
When was the last time you saw him throw a ball?
Accurately.
I mean, it doesn't matter. This is a burn it down year for him. He's bridging the gap to get their guy next year. So I'm pretty sure they want him to suck.
I mean, that's probably why they drafted Shaquille O'Neal for the wide receiver position. So a lot of jump balls in the ATL this year. That's the only reason I see. Because in my opinion, Drake London is definitely not the most talented in this draft class.
No.
But they walked up to Drake London and were like, "We'll take that guy."
That'll do.
Yeah.
So,
you really want a guy on a team that is going to suck? That you want to suck? How many targets can you get going 3 and out every play? Every possession.
All of them, at least 3.
All of
right?
them, at least 3.
At least 3 per drive. So I mean, Kyle Pitts will get his. Drake London, though, I mean, you have to figure they're going to be behind a whole lot in games all season, and just with no one else there, this is just going to be a good year for him to get groomed to be a number one guy.
If he isn't already.
So, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I like him. He's going to get his targets. PPR, he's going to be very worthy. I'm not necessarily sure that he approaches, Jalen Waddle type volume in his first year, but I mean, sign me up for, I'd say, at least 75 to 80 receptions for him.
Can Cordarrelle repeat what he did last season? Because you know that I was the biggest Cordarrelle hater last year. I lost many a bets against him with my own blood, my brother, which I'd rather lose to anybody else than him. And I try to not take like past pains into consideration whenever I see somebody doing good. But man, what Cordarrelle Patterson has traditionally sucked, and then last year he was
Terrible.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same situation. Can he repeat that with Drake London being there? Does that hurt Drake London? Does that help him? Does that spread the defense out more so he can be more successful?
These one?
I'm worried about Kyle Pitts too, man. I mean, Kyle Pitts was force-fed the ball last year. Okay, so year. I just don't see Drake London getting that kind of volume on a bad team, man. Sure, he'll catch some jump balls in the end zone for you, but in terms of having the de facto guy for a redraft, that's not me.
You don't see him. You're not even starting him in a flex?
No, absolutely not. He's the best receiver. He's the second best receiver on a horrible team, probably the worst in the NFL. Give me Kyle Pitts over Drake London for volume on the Falcons.
I mean, I think Cordarrelle Patterson, I don't think he necessarily repeats this year as the running back 9, which is what he finished at in PPR. I don't see that. I don't think he'll be an RB1, but they only brought in Damian Williams. They didn't really
get me off my past hate, man. Get me off my past hate. Can the people like Cordarrelle Patterson again next year?
Yeah, I mean, for a redraft, he's a good, later round value or mid round value for a guy to take. You can flex him in the running back or wide receiver spot if they still make him eligible for it. But I mean, personally, I'd stay away from him. I'd absolutely stay away from him.
Yeah.
You'd stay away from Cordarrelle Patterson?
Yeah, I'd look elsewhere. But at the same time, everyone's got value. It's a good value for almost any player when the round is late enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, Wayne, if he's your running back too, are you asking for a refund from the league, or you feel good about it?
You can't ask me that. I've been burned by him too many times.
He's a flex at best.
Yeah, I'm trying to take like personal hatred out of things. It was the same thing. Goni, you took my money on Dalvin Cook because Dalvin Cook went down on me, and then the next year I was like, I bet he does better. You know me. I was like, you're an idiot, and then he did amazing. And then the year after that, I was like, and you were like, and I was like, and Dalvin Cook was like,
Yeah.
So I try and take it all out. So Cordarrelle right now, based on ADP, he's going about. Dang, it's saying he's an RB3, a flex play.
That's about right, man.
Flex. I'd be all right with him in the flex. Okay. Honestly.
So it's not my hate. I'm accurate. Okay, I got it. Good job, me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you got Drake London. Juan, who do you have? You obviously didn't like Drake London too much on that high-powered Falcons offense.
Yeah, no. Listen. There's one guy for me. It's Treylon Burks, man. I mean, he's coming into a situation, playoff team. There's targets waiting for him. You got a developed offense. You got a good coaching staff. You got Derrick Henry coming back. There's no pressure here. There's easy targets, good quarterback, good situation. Not an explosive athlete, but a huge catch radius. Profiles close to A.J. Brown, actually. Not as athletic. That's my guy.
He's about as physical. I think he's.
That's my guy. He was the best receiver in the SEC last year. That says a lot to me.
Yeah, that's a good pick. It's definitely a good pick.
Yeah, I think he can slide right back into the A.J. Brown slot. Yeah. I think Derrick Henry obviously takes a lot of volume, but I think with Derrick Henry being healthy, I think it helps him way more than it hurts him because that obviously you got to respect the run game whenever King Henry's in there.
Yeah, I mean he's got the corpse of Bobby Trees to deal with that you haven't seen outside of L.A. yet. Well, torn ACL, older.
Yeah.
I mean Robert Woods is there, but yeah, I mean it's not. Like you said, he's coming off an injury. It's not going to do anything.
It's just a small passing by there.
The roots are withering.
The roots are withering, yeah, absolutely.
The Titans traded away A.J. Brown to get this guy, right? I mean, Why do you not? You have AJ Brown. You have a franchise receiver possibly. You let walk.
Money. All these guys are getting paid, man. You got Terry McLaurin, Debo, and AJ Brown all wanting to get paid. And it was probably their best bet. They probably didn't want to sign him to a top end deal and commit the big money to him. Tannehill is commanding a big share of cap room right now. I'm sure, Derrick Henry has got a pretty nice chunk as well. So, they at least got something out of it. They got, their guy for the future, and they got another pick as well. It's a small passing pie. I like Treylon Burks. The cons for it is small passing pie. Tannehill doesn't really throw a lot. You're very reliant on the run game and the play action for him to be efficient, at least with A.J. Brown. That's just usually Tannehill's game. He kind of struggled last year without Derrick Henry. But, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Treylon Burks is a great athlete.
But he also had injuries pretty much everywhere on the field to deal with. And we all know that Tanny's got something to prove this year. He's the bad guy of the week.
Bad guy of the week.
He refuses. Guy of the week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
He refuses to mentor. That's not his job. I'm pretty sure it's kind of low key his job. I've never seen that before, where an older veteran quarterback is just like, piss on this rookie.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is supposedly like the real bad guy of the league, and even he wasn't that way to Bryce Love. He probably saw Bryce Love and was like, "Yeah, I'll mentor you, my
Jordan
guy."
Love.
But Tanny, I don't know. I think he's going to go out there and try and just make the Titans just regret wasting a pick on him.
Absolutely, man. This guy's going to succeed. Absolutely going to succeed. Doink bet on it. I'm calling it right now.
Doink bet.
First doink bet.
Oh man, I need. We need some sort of sound to go with doink bets. We're going to work on that. This is going to be a lot more interactive, boys. We're going to figure it out. But when we call for a doink bet,
I've got one Drake London over Treylon Burks this year. More fantasy, better fantasy finish. Drake London over.
Get it on the ledger.
Oh, done deal. It's going in.
Put it in ink.
Put it in ink.
Hey,
all right.
There's something legendary that everybody listening needs to know about. You're going to hear about it very often throughout the year. The notes. The Goni phone notes. All the bets are on Goni's phone notes. If we ever refer to the notes, somebody's getting doinked. You don't want to know what they're getting doinked with or where they're getting doinked, but they're getting doinked.
Yes.
The ledger's on Goni's phone. So are we entering that right now? Is the doink bet officially entered?
It's going in right now.
We're any doink bets, that's a big deal. We're pausing the podcast and we're waiting for it to be put in the notes.
Yep.
We'll take suggestions on what sound that should be.
Fair enough.
I feel like a nice wet skin-on-skin noise ought to do there.
Oh,
moist.
All right, it's official. It's official, gentlemen.
Wow. First doink bet of the year.
Yeah, pleasure doing business with you. Looking forward to doinking you. I was undefeated in 2021. Wayne knows all about that.
Listen, just so we're clear, he won 2 doink bets by a combined 1.6. A win's a win. A win's a win. He won both of them.
Right.
But I don't want him to sit there and act like all big-headed, like he hobble squashed me on doink bets, which is not the case whatsoever.
1.6 fantasy points can be the difference between a win and a loss.
But it also could not be the difference between a win and a loss. 1.6 points could mean absolutely nothing in a fantasy game.
Coin flips.
It absolutely could. But just the pride of knowing that,
when we played, like in one of our leagues last year, whenever me and you were in the championship, 1.6 points didn't matter.
You're right, because we had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamar Chase put up monster numbers.
I don't want to talk about the one where we're on the team together. I want to talk about the other league where I was mano-a-mano against you.
Hey, man, let's talk about some rookies, all right?
Okay.
Listen, boys, this is what we need. This is 90s NBA, man. We're not sharing jerseys after the fantasy championship game.
No. And
we're going for your throats.
And people don't forget, there's a lot of personal vendettas going on, and you all are going to be a part of every bit of it. because I like mushing noses. I like
I
mushing
hate these
noses
guys
in their
during
own
fantasy
failures,
season.
and
I
I
hate
plan to
these
mush
guys.
all season long. Back to business. So we talked about the wide receivers, boys, running backs.
Oh Lord.
How awful! How awful is the running backs this year? I mean, I'm trying to, as a fantasy manager, you're licking your chops over what running backs are going to come out this year because that's who you just want to jump on and run. And I couldn't be any more underwhelmed with this running back class.
Underwhelmed.
Yeah, what a year to have a 101 with all these. I mean, the running backs are, for the most part. There's a couple good ones, but all the landing spots just feel terrible compared to years past.
What a
Yeah.
year to trade for the 101, no?
I mean, hey, sometimes you have to do what you have to do,
I'm trying to delete like my memory of the Jets to like Brees Hall this year, and the Jets have really done. They won the draft, in my opinion. They beefed up their defense. They're young. They have good receivers.
But it's
They
the
drafted another great receiver this year, and I want to, but it's like the Browns scenario over the past few years, where it's like the Browns have this stacked roster, and like you're like, that's the Browns roster, like they should be amazing, and then they never are, aside from a playoff appearance. So I just don't know if the Jets are going to be the Browns or if the Jets can, because on paper I think they look like a 500 team this year.
Jets are gonna
gonna
Jets, man. Yeah.
Jets are gonna Jets.
Give me 4 to 6 wins here with the Jets.
Don't tell me
I don't
that.
believe in Zach Wilson or anything as far as that goes. He doesn't pass the eye test to me. I mean, if we're going with running backs, I mean, I like Brees Hall more than all of them. I mean, that's just chalk. I know that, but
You have to in
you
this
go
one.
with the talent. You go with the talent, man, and he's the best running back here. And he really looks like the guy that might be the only workhorse back to come out of this draft. To be honest with you, he can do it all. He's coming to a bad team. He's going to have opportunity right away. I'm sure he's going to split with Michael Carter, but they've got a young up-and-coming offensive line, and maybe
Didn't we say
quarterback
that?
takes a
Didn't we
step
say
forward,
that?
man.
Wasn't it
Zach
the
Wilson,
same
maybe.
narrative about Michael Carter last year, though?
Yeah, I mean, they also drafted a guard last year as he was a rookie with the team, just as Michael Carter was. So you got a year of development, and he actually is really good. So I don't know.
Did Brees Hall finish top 5 in Heisman voting, or was that Kenneth Walker who did that?
I mean, does it matter?
I mean, you want to talk workhorse? You want to talk talent? Give me Kenneth Walker, man. Going to Seattle, you have an organization that's proven. They've been steady. I trust Pete Carroll more than I trust anybody in the Jets organization. Yeah, they have Drew Lock, but I'll take Drew Lock over Zach Wilson. Absolutely, any day of the week. They've got 2 receivers stretch the field, and they have nothing to lose by giving this guy 100 carries this year. Nothing to lose at all. They got to see what they have.
I think the Seahawks sucks this year. You don't lose a Hall of Fame quarterback and get better. You don't lose a Hall of Fame linebacker and get better.
They suck, but he's going to get 100 carries because they have nothing to lose. Boys, this draft class is like reaching into a turd bucket and pulling out the longest turd. I mean, these running backs aren't great. Next year, these guys would be round 2 players in a fantasy draft for rookies.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that in a redraft format, we just aren't touching any rookie running backs. Not until late.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
I would.
I feel like, I mean, it goes without saying, if you're in a dynasty, running back is king. If you don't have the 1-1 or 1-2 this year, then I mean you got to go with somebody else. But 1-1 and 1-2 are Brees and Kenneth, depending on who you like, right?
Yeah, I mean Seattle's a run-first offense, man. Can we say that about the Jets?
We can't say anything about the Jets offense.
I'd also like to point out that I find it funny that you trust the guy who decided to throw it on the 1 yard line over anyone that the Jets have also. His team's kind of eroded around him since throwing it at the 1 yard line.
I feel like I should have a moist skin-on-skin sound for the point he just dropped on you.
I feel like I should have a graphic of his Super Bowl ring pop up on the screen now.
Oh, man. Well,
tell me the last time the Jets had one of those.
But the Jets never had the Legion of Boom. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, that at the
beast
same time.
mode.
They had Rex Ryan. And can't wait Bart Scott.
They made it to the
Can't
AFC
wait.
Championship, okay? They also did it with Mark Sanchez and not Russell Wilson. So, I mean, there's that. Let's just agree to disagree on that. I think the Jets O-line is on the up and up. I think Robert Saleh can be a good coach. I just don't think they have their proper quarterback. And it's going to take a couple of years for them to figure that out because, as I said, the Jets are going to Jets.
Yeah. I don't like timeshares. Give me the guy who will have that backfield locked up at the end of the year.
Don't tell me that as somebody that got the 1-1 and with an aging running back core in a dynasty. I need the Jets to not
Traded
Jets.
for it.
I need the Jets to figure it out.
Sold assets for it.
I tell you who I like this year, and that's Chris Olave. He's going to the Saints.
Olave.
I like it.
He's going to the Saints. He's got Michael Thomas and Joe Blow, Traquan Smith, and who is Marquez Callaway. So, like I said, he's got Michael Thomas.
Fire.
The Saints traded up for him, so they won him.
They hate Michael Thomas.
They hate his guts. They hate Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas hates them. They got famous Jameis.
Eat it. Eat the dub.
That boy loves to sling the pigskin. Accurately, inaccurately, under pressure, in the pocket, falling down. He loves to sling the pigskin, and he's going to sling it. And if he slings it 1,000,000 times, then Chris Olave is going to get several of them. I mean, you look at Mike Evans when he was in Tampa, and that man's a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. 30 touchdowns is hard to do. 30 interceptions is hard to do. To do it in the same season is an incredible feat.
Talent.
And that man slings the pigskin. Mark it down. Plant the flag on Chris Olave this year. He is going to be a stud for Jameis Winston.
Where does he finish for you?
Among rookies?
We could do among rookies, yeah. Or among just wide receivers in general. Where would you put him?
Oh.
Brutal. That's tough.
Wide receiver 2 territory? You know he ain't going to be a wide receiver 1.
No, I'm not. No. Not a wide receiver 1. I think he's a back-end wide receiver 2. I think he will start on all redraft rosters next year.
Wow.
I think
spicy take. Spicy take.
I think you can get great value out of him because people are going to say Saints, Sean Payton's gone. I get it and all that.
Right.
Jameis Winston slings the football. I had to watch it for so long, and I wanted to love him. And Jameis Winston is just so stupid in his throws, but he throws it, and he throws it, and he throws it. So I just don't see any way, shape, or form that Chris Olave doesn't just run it up.
That's why you come to the Mad Podcast, for analysis like that. Right there. Put that in your veins, people. That's it right here. That's why you're with the Mad family. The Mad Mob.
Lock it in. So we got.
What about running backs, Wayne? What about running backs? We didn't hear your lock of the draft.
Chris Olave, man. Hey. But so
running back wise, are you on the Breece Hall train?
Yeah. Breece Hall over Kenneth Walker.
Is it close for you though?
No. I think Breece Hall is just head and shoulders more talented. And
was that reflected in his Heisman votes this year?
If you're drafting Breece Hall at any point this year, it's in a dynasty. So
Agreed.
I think when you're drafting for dynasty purposes, you know he's not going to have an impact for you this year. So you just got to hope that the situation for the Jets gets better, because Breece Hall's talent is great. Because the Seahawks aren't a good offense this year. They're in rebuild mode. So they might be a little bit better right now, but neither are going to be good. So I'll just take the guy that's a little bit worse when I'm not starting either of them, because I think long term he's more talented and going to add more value to the squad.
Tony Soprano, do you believe that? Breece Hall, that doesn't see the field much this year, good next year?
No, I think he definitely sees the field this year. I think he starts off 50-50 bare minimum with Michael Carter, and then just grows from there. I think they push Michael Carter more into a complementary role like he was with North Carolina with it was Javonte Williams, I believe, no?
Yeah.
I think that he pushes Michael Carter for the job. I think it's Breece Hall's job outright next year with Michael Carter coming to spell him. And you go with the talent, man. Kenneth Walker only had 19 career receptions at Michigan State. That just takes out a dimension that, Breece Hall can add if we're comparing the two. But maybe we'll get lucky and Mike White will go ahead and play some quarterback for the Jets this year and just check down City. So we'll see. I like Breece Hall a lot more than Kenneth Walker. I see a higher ceiling for him.
Michigan State historically doesn't throw to the running back, though.
That's right.
It doesn't. It's not necessarily his inability to catch it. It's just that that's never been how Michigan State plays football. I mean, they never do.
You know who also doesn't throw to the running back? Drew Lock.
We haven't seen him under Pete Carroll.
Oh, okay. That Pete Carroll's going to turn his game around, all right.
There you go.
Drew Lock, top 32 quarterback this year. Lock it in.
Ooh, are we locking it in?
I'm sure. Does anyone want to put a doink bet on it? I'll say Drew Lock is the top 32 quarterback.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
A adamantium pass coming from me.
Fair enough.
Okay, so just to prove my point, so Kenneth Walker had what, 19 receptions
for his career.
For his career, which was how many years at Michigan State?
3 years.
3 years. He's an early declare.
What do you consider like a good number coming out of college for your career as far as receptions go? For your career?
Oh, I mean,
if you're a pass catching back.
Not 19. You'd like to see at least in a season or so. You'd probably like to see at least 30. I'd say. Just you'd like to see some involvement. When you see 19 for a career, because I think he had like 13 receptions this past season. You just like to see it. I know it's not necessarily part of their offense at Michigan State, so I mean he might get a pass on it, but at the same time, it's that Breece Hall can catch the ball.
I don't think that's. I don't think he had a lot of opportunities. I just don't think Michigan State plays like that. I mean, the last time they had a pass catching back was Le'Veon Bell, and I mean he was just at like every year. Well, I mean his freshman year he was at like 10, but I mean you know how that goes. But I mean he was.
Yeah, but he was
right at 30 his other years. He actually went down from his sophomore to his junior year. He was getting less receptions.
Right.
And I just don't think Michigan State.
My thing for that though is Le'Veon Bell goes to a team where they have a Hall of Fame quarterback who is at that point on the downswing of his career. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger still had some good years left in him, obviously, when Le'Veon got there, but he wasn't as mobile. And as you've seen over the past few years before he retired, he got less and less mobile and just became a Phillip Rivers-esque statue that just, oh no.
This isn't an argument for the spot that he landed. This is an argument of saying, I think Kenneth Walker can be a pass catcher. I just think he couldn't prove himself in college in that system because I don't think that's how that they just don't run that way.
As the chartered member of the Kenneth Walker fan club, let me hop in here. So, he's a 3-down back on it. He didn't share many snaps at all last year. Pass protection, he is a lead on film in pass protection, right? NFL, values that highly. Brees Hall, on the opposite, one of his major weaknesses, probably his only weakness in his college film, is pass protection, right? It's the hardest thing to learn. Slot protection's notoriously difficult to teach. Give me a guy who's going to be on the field 3 downs, which is a rare commodity in the NFL. Brees Hall is built to split carries in the NFL. He's 6'1", 220. He's physical between the tackles. Kenneth Walker's 5'9", 210. He's stout, 4.3 speed. He can be on the field all 3 downs. And who is there to challenge him in Seattle in terms of catching the football?
Rashad Penny.
Case in point.
Penny.
Give me the guy who's on the field, man. He can be on the field 3rd downs. I think Brees Hall maybe he's on the field 15% 3rd downs this year for the Jets.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, since we're on the subject of running backs, let's just go ahead and knock them out. Is there anybody? I like James Cook. I mean, you got to like somebody that's going to an offense with that's one of the top in the league. But I mean, he's going to be Zach Moss is their hammer. Devin Singletary is everything else. So I don't think he does. He might split with Devin Singletary some. I don't think he does anything, and that was the 3rd running back. Is there anybody you all see? I don't trust Rashad White because the Buccaneers draft a running back every single year. So I don't think he does anything. Is there any back end running backs that you all see as being viable in the next 2-3 years? Anybody with a skill set or maybe a location that they're landing that you're like, maybe it's worth a waiver wire pickup after we draft.
If you're talking redraft, you got to look at Dameon Pierce out in Houston. I know Goni likes Spiller a lot in San Diego as a option for the future, but Pierce has a chance, just like Kenneth Walker, man, to slide in immediately. At least a 2-down back in Houston. He could have the job by week 4 or 5. He's got to beat out the corpse of Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead. I think he applies for his AARP card this year.
Mm-hmm. He qualifies for Medicare. Facts.
Yeah. Rex will take down some 3rd down work from Pierce, but what competition does he have, man? Give me guys who are on the field rookie year have a chance to prove themselves.
Volume. It doesn't matter how good.
Volume's king.
I'll take volume over being on a good team every time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when you're looking at guys in like the 3rd round, it's Rashad White, Tyrion Davis-Price. I mean, normally going to the Niners, you'd be like, oh yeah, he might be worth a flyer or something whenever you can find him. He's probably a 2nd round guy in a dynasty draft, but they've proven that draft capital means nothing with selecting Trey Sermon in the third last year and then going ahead and using Elijah Mitchell all year. My guys would be, Isaiah Spiller I like for the future. For Eckler, I think he could be Eckler 2.0. But my pick that I actually hadn't mentioned at all to you guys, I'd probably go with a stash on Zamir White to the Raiders. They declined Josh Jacobs' option. He'll be a free agent after this year. Kenyon Drake is, you don't really have to worry about Kenyon Drake too much. He will also be gone after this year. So, to me, it looks like it's an open pathway to a starting gig. He was a 4th round running back, so the draft capital is not great, but he's going to have a chance to seize the opportunity, I think. If he shows out, in practice and training camp this year and does what he has to do, impresses the coaches, he might be able to be the starter next year. You never know. So I think he's worth a stash.
He profiles more closely to Kenneth Walker, right, than Brees Hall in terms of did not catch the ball in college at all. And I thought you were vehemently against guys who don't catch the ball in college.
Bro, we're talking about a late round flyer. If you can get a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round of your dynasty draft that can be a starter on a team, that's probably a win, right? Just regardless. Right. That's what I'm going for. Guys are built differently.
I like the pick.
I'm gonna go even further down in the draft for you all. as far
Wow.
as a late round flyer.
Oh wow.
Hassan Haskins.
Oh, I love it. Go blue.
He's a Derrick Henry replacement. He's 6'1". What is he like? Over 200.
Yeah.
He loves being in the trenches, and linebackers are not going to have a fun time tackling him.
Nope.
He's great
No.
at pass blocking. I think that's going to get him in. I think that's
Huge.
going to get him in almost immediately.
Yeah.
We're not talking. I mean, nobody's going to challenge Derrick Henry for anything.
Yeah, 6'1", 220.
220.
6'1", 220.
And he knows how to use it, man. I
That
watched
man's
a
going
lot
to
of
be
Michigan
hard
games.
to tackle. So they just drafted somebody that they can use like they use Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying Hassan Haskins is going to be Derrick Henry, but he's got
I
the
like it.
opportunity to learn behind him.
Yeah.
We know Vrabel loves to just run the rock, run it down your throat.
Yeah.
And he snagged another dude that can do just that and learn behind Derrick Henry. And I mean, if Derrick Henry goes down again, which is possible, he does
Absolutely.
so much work. Who
Yeah.
else is on that depth chart? Dontrell Hilliard,
Yeah.
Hassan Haskins could
yeah.
slide in as being the third down back. He could get a lot of the goal line carries. All right. If you're wondering where the splice came from, I was just falling in love with Hassan Haskins. And much like Hassan will do to linemen, my Roomba decided to just run through my power cable that has my router and all that. So if you're
I hope you
wondering the
keep
weird
that
jump,
face in there. I hope you keep that face in there, the stuck face.
that's a terrible impression.
Hassan
I look a lot
Haskins
better than
love
that.
face.
It wasn't stuck for me. I was just fine.
Okay.
Another reason to join the Mad Mob. Roomba interferences. Where do you
Yeah.
get that? What other podcast do you get that on?
Well, if you don't enjoy technical difficulties, join the Mad Mob and spread the word. We'll get a producer. We'll get somebody on that. We'll get.
Oh, I like it.
I
Help
will
us help
change. Me and the Roomba are going to have a long talk. Really pissed off about that. Anyways, back on track. Hassan Haskins. I didn't hear anything you all had to say about him because my technical difficulties. So
Yep.
let me hear what y'all think about him.
As a Michigan fan, dude, I was madly in love with that choice. I think he's a guy. Goni said it best. He sits for a year, learns under Henry. If they choose not to extend Henry, I mean, that's a guy who can slide in next year. He's got the physical profile, and he runs hard, man. I watched a lot of Michigan games. That dude has heart. He's a dog, man. Absolute dog.
He's home.
Yeah.
He's home in the trenches, 10 toes down, boy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he can come in. Derrick Henry sat behind, DeMarco Murray and did his thing for a couple of years. So it could just be a thing where they're getting their guy for when Henry breaks down. I mean, the man easily gets 300 plus carries every season. So it's probably bound to happen. I think he's going to be 28 years old this year as well. King Henry will not reign forever. So,
Not at that
it's a good
position.
pick.
Not
It's
at
a
that
good pick
position.
by
That's
the
20,
Titans.
29 is an absolute geezer as far as the running back is concerned. You don't
Right.
extend him, right?
No.
Nah.
I mean,
No, you can't.
you thank him for his service and his body,
Send him to the Patriots.
and then you say adieu
Mhm.
off to the Hall of Fame with you. Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Hall of Fame?
I think he gets in.
He's got to be, man.
He broke 2,000 yards. I don't think there's a guy that broke 2,000 yards that isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Got to be, man.
Good point. Let's segue back to wide receivers for the last part of this. The running backs. It just hurts my heart to talk about them this year because I love
Turd
them.
buckets.
And there's not a lot this year. So we pretty much got through round one. Who we like, who's going to make an immediate impact. Did any teams get a steal?
Sky Moore is probably considered I don't know if he's necessarily considered a steal, but I feel like Sky Moore is a good pick if we're going into the second round.
I think they got great value for Sky Moore. I think it's I guess you're not really stealing anything in round 2. I mean,
Yeah.
George Pickens maybe.
George Pickens, yeah. George Pickens plus their wide receiver factory. They're gonna make that guy pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I agree. What are we doing? What do we? You're our Patriots guy, and I guess we'll go ahead and make it known. Let me veer off just for a second. Bear with me. I'm a Buccaneers fan. I've been a Buccaneers fan through thick and thin. Through all
been a lot of thin.
A lot of thin.
A whole lot of thin. My connection to Tampa Bay is my grandparents live there. I went down there, visited. I got connections. Begley is a Cowboys fan. We'll go ahead and plant that. His connection to Dallas is.
Well, the bandwagon came through.
He's a second generation bandwagoner. His father hopped on the bandwagon when he was a boy, and so I'll give it to Begley. He's been a Dallas Cowboys fan since the beginning of time. He didn't just choose to hop on it. His dad chose to hop on it, and he was birthed on the bandwagon. So to do what you will with that.
Nobody's had more thin than a Cowboys fan. I refuse to accept the hate.
And then we have our resident Patriots fan, which I know there's a load of bandwagon Patriots fan. But this is Matthew Fagone. He's from New York.
Yeah, as a former New Yorker, it's generally especially a no-no. But my dad was from New Jersey, so I grew up as a Red Sox and Patriots fans, which are major no-nos for New York.
But he's in the New England area. We'll give it to you. Ish.
I suppose. They're bitter, dire enemies, though. So that is what it is.
Connections up there. Up yonder.
Turncoat.
Yeah. If we want to talk about how
I say all that because I want your thoughts on Bill Belichick and the Patriots trading up for a position player in Tyquan Thornton.
And weird pick, by the way. A weird pick.
Yeah, that's the Bill Belichick way, man. I already know, though. Tyquan Thornton could be Jamar Chase good coming out of college, and just for the sole fact that we went ahead and we grabbed I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying
hot take.
By any means. I'm just saying by us choosing Tyquan Thornton in the second round, there's no doubt in my mind that this man is a bust. We have a long storied history of choosing. I mean, whenever we do actually choose a guy in one of the high rounds that's an offensive potential playmaker, just don't work out for you. So I expect more of the same. We're more along the guys who can throw darts or, play some lacrosse in like the 6th round. We tend to go with those kind of players.
You can throw darts, but sometimes you just hit an innocent bystander walking through the bar instead of landing it anywhere near the board. But
yeah,
I'm so confused because obviously Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest NFL coach of all time, and he traded up for a position player, and I'm like, okay, George Pickens, solid, Bill. Sky Moore, man. Tyquan Thornton. I'm confused.
Who?
I'm confused. And I'm sure George Pickens is sitting there like.
Well, but George
takes his
Pickens,
Patriot hat off that he was getting ready to put on.
Yeah, he was sitting there just like, come on, Bill. Bill. Yeah, hey, Bill. Mike, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay away from him if you're planning on getting Tyquan Thornton. There's probably not a lot of you looking into selecting him. Death taxes and Patriots position players not really being worth much in fantasy, especially post Brady era.
Yeah. The thing about George Pickens, man, that dude is so good. He's great. He got hurt in college, wasn't on the field a lot. Athletically a monster. Apparently he's terrible. Terrible off the field, man. Horrible attitude. That's not a Bill Belichick player. He's not going to put up with that.
Oh, so he won't make it to the field then. Excellent pick. Great pick. I'm glad we traded up for that.
But why pass on Sky Moore?
Because Bill Belichick is a mad genius, and we don't know the reason why he does the things. Plus, he's just got to, he's got to keep the tradition intact. We had N'Keal Harry, and he didn't work out. So, a couple of years goes by, and he's like, oh, it's about that time we draft another bust.
I hate that that's a legitimate argument, and that he just Bill Belichick, and we have to take it, and it makes sense, and there's nothing we can say about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Christian Watson?
Not a fan, man. I'm not a fan.
Looks
like Randy
Rodgers.
Moss. Looks like Randy Moss. It doesn't play anything like him, man. 40 catches. 40 catches last year in college.
You don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him at Green Bay battling against Alan Lazard?
Who does Aaron Rodgers make rookies? He doesn't trust them, man. You got to earn his trust. Tell me the last good rookie with Aaron Rodgers.
But Aaron Rodgers has always had people.
Tell me the last rookie who performed well under Aaron Rodgers.
Tell me the last receiver that the Packers drafted.
Amari Rodgers last year, and was absolute dog water all year.
But he had MVS and Devontae Adams. He has Alan Lazard this year.
Also, I don't think Amari Rodgers was second round draft capital last year. So I think
where did he get drafted last year?
I don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to vet. I can vet that real quick, or one of you guys can. While I'm telling you about how Christian Watson, I think actually might be decent. He was a third round pick last year.
Yeah, decent draft capital.
Draft capital matters. They went up and they got him. They got Christian Watson. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. If he wants him on the field, he's going to have him on the field.
Amari Rodgers was a third rounder in a pretty solid wide receiver class.
Solid wide receiver. Look, man, Christian Watson plays on the outside. He stretches the field. He's a speed guy. He's Valdez-Scantling, right? Is that his ceiling? Rodgers likes guys who run between the sticks, route runners, timing throws. That's what he's elite at. This guy is not that, man. He's not that.
What Aaron Rodgers liked over the past few years was Devontae Adams, and that's it.
How many fantasy
Adams,
leagues were won off the backs of the Rodgers Adams combo? It seemed like every year I was playing in a league where somebody had Rodgers and Adams, and you were just like, this guy. It just was a slap in the face. Like if you're that guy that drafted Rodgers and Adams, and then the rest of your team sucked, and you still managed to be successful, I hate you. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
There's no strategy
I felt
there.
the wrath of that as well.
You won. Congratulations, but you should feel terrible. You should feel terrible about yourself.
Yeah, man. I just don't see it here, man. I just don't see it. He doesn't like rookies. He doesn't. You have to earn his trust. He's sour. He's just a sour-faced guy in the locker room. I don't like it. I'm avoiding.
There's not really a better landing spot though than Green Bay if you're a rookie wide receiver. Am I wrong?
You ain't mad about getting Aaron Rodgers tossed you the rock.
Yeah, you have a future Hall of Famer and you have minimal competition. Alan Lazard and Sammy Watkins don't exactly scream superstardom there. So he's got a pathway. He's got a pathway to getting his targets and being able to have some kind of a breakout. Do I think he's going to? Not necessarily, but he's got a chance to be good.
I don't see it, man. That's a hard fade for me this year.
Yeah, I think Sky Moore is obviously better than he is, and George Pickens is better than he is. But when you look at it, like Pickens has to deal with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, and Sky Moore has to deal with MVS, Mecole Hardman, Juju. So I think they're better, and I think they have. Sky Moore obviously has a top quarterback, but like Goni said, there's just there's nothing there for him. There's nothing but scraps being thrown onto the floor for him to chew on at the end of the game.
I see where you guys are coming from. He's just not going to get thrown the ball. It just won't happen.
Wow.
Okay. I'll make a doink bet with you right now. Another one.
2-in-1 podcast?
2-in-1 podcast.
All right, what's
Unheard
the doink?
I'll take Christian Watson over any other second round running or wide receiver You take your pick of the lot. I say Christian Watson outperforms all of them this year, has a better fantasy finish.
Wow.
Now, the safe bet would be for you to take Sky Moore for sure.
I'm
But
not. I'm not high on Sky Moore.
I know how you feel about it. I know you like your boy John Mechie, but I mean, you know who's throwing him the rock there.
I do like John Mechie. I'm not sold on.
Davis.
I'm not sold on Davis Mills being an awful quarterback yet.
Hey man, I'm ready to take this one to the bank if you'd like to accept.
Wow.
Hey, hang on.
I can promise you it ain't between Wandale. I can assure you that. I can assure you that, man. Oh, wow, Goni. To me, it's between Mechie. I'm not big on Sky Moore either. Not a huge fan of Chiefs. Not a huge fan of Chiefs drafting receivers either.
You can decline the doink bet. I mean, you look like a fool.
Here's
You
what
look
I think.
like you shriveled up and crawled into your shell.
You know what? Give me John Mechie. Doink bet, lock it in, throw it in the notes.
Okay.
Over Christian Watson.
This is a Goni Notes pause in the podcast.
Yeah. Goni, while you do that, let me explain to the listeners here what my thought process is. John Mechie is coming off a torn ACL in college. Stock dropped, right? Elite route runner, absolutely elite. Profiles to be in the slot. Has no competition there in Houston for the slot. None at all. Zero. Will start week 1 in the slot. Alabama pedigree. If he doesn't tear his ACL, this guy's a first-round pick. Davis Mills showed flashes. I think Houston improves 2 to 3 games this year. I think he's got a pretty safe floor, pretty low ceiling, but pretty safe floor.
Texans also traded up in the draft to get him.
Yeah, I mean,
they
this
wanted
guy's
him.
still the draft. This guy's still the draft. I will put my reputation, whatever that is, on this. This guy's still the draft.
The end of the season is going to be excellent for me over here. It's just going to be great. We're gonna listen back on this and we're gonna laugh. At least 2 of us will.
I tell you, if you're in on this now, if you're listening to these earlier ones, you're gonna want to be here when these bets come to fruition. You're gonna want to hear
the skin on skin sounds that we'll have.
The repercussions
this
is
fresh.
Being the wrong one.
I'm gonna be the graphics guy, the editor guy, and I'm slacking. We want to go ahead and start getting content out there for you all. So it's going to be very basic, but I know we need it. We're going to have our sound effects. We're going to have our graphics. We're going to have our intros, outros.
Totally.
I'm going to be in on that. I guarantee it. So take these first couple episodes as far. Oh Lord, man!
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Splice.
Technical difficulties.
Splice.
We are going to iron this out, and it's going to be beautiful.
Wow.
And by the time these doink bets are done and the doinking commences, we're going to have it's going to be a beautiful sight. It's going to be a beautiful sight if you're watching. Well, this will be up on YouTube. It's going to be a beautiful sight if you're listening. We're going to try and get it on everywhere: iTunes, Spotify. Tony's going to be our Spotify man. I'm going to be our YouTube man. And we're gonna really try and just bust out some content, and on top of that, we're gonna try and win y'all some fantasy leagues.
Absolutely.
We've got, I don't even know. I've been playing fantasy for 18 years now, maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we lost Goni. I know Goni's been playing fantasy longer than I have. So, we've probably got 50 years of fantasy experience between us. So we've learned a lot of valuable lessons along the way. Been hurt a lot, and we're gonna try and keep y'all from getting hurt like that. We're gonna try and give you all some doink bets for your homies, and hopefully you're doing the doinking and not getting doinked. Just make sure you lock it in and subscribe.
And please follow for technical difficulties. You'll get those.
The
nowhere
technical
else quite like
difficulties
here.
are just they're just part of it. I would say we're going to clear it up.
The
I'm
guy
going
in
to
the
clear it up.
unfinished basement is undefeated right now. Technical difficulties.
I'm going to clear it up. I thought for sure Begley was going to be the one with the most technical difficulties. He's for some reason has the least. He's on an iPad with AirPods though. You know, I have technical difficulties
I've got
because
a high
I have
ceiling.
the recording equipment. You know, I have everything going. It's fine.
tech guy.
That's neither here nor there. You're just on an iPad Skype call. Goni, I don't even know. We'll probably see him in a little bit, and he'll come back with a bro. But it's going to be a good time.
He'll come back with something a little less ridiculous than the Roomba. It could have got his breaker box. I'm sure.
That Roomba, it's done. I'm putting it in the garage. I'm going to have the most vacuum garage of all time.
Wow. Christian Watson. How do you feel about Christian Watson, man? Is that your guy?
No, he's not my guy, but I like him. He doesn't have competition. Aaron Rodgers, I get what you're saying. Aaron Rodgers doesn't.
You got to earn his trust.
You got to earn his trust, but there ain't nobody else on that field. He can't.
Nobody.
You can only feed Alan Lazard so much. He's out of necessity. Christian Watson's gonna get some work. And I see what you're saying about John Mechie too, because it's Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins. So it'll be a good one. It'll be a good one. I have to go with Aaron Rodgers over Davis Mills.
Got to, yeah. I don't blame you there.
At the end of it, but
wow.
Oh, welcome back.
Technical
stupid
difficulties.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I can't wait to just blow up and zoom on his stupid face that he's got on right now.
Wow.
Is he frozen on yours too with that stupid face?
He is, man. Wow. What is that, Wayne? Wayne, what is that? Is that about 2 weeks of beard growth for him right there?
At least.
Goni, when was the last time you shaved? About 2 months ago? Valentine's Day?
It looks like he spritzed his hat in baby powder beforehand as well.
Swan dived right into a bunch of deodorant sticks. Wow. The suspense. Honestly, he's probably regretting the doink bet and is trying to figure out his way out of it.
Ooh.
You know, the Packers are trade candidates. Packers could very well trade for a wide receiver in the offseason.
Who?
DK's out there, man.
DK ain't leaving. He's not. He already said he's not leaving Seattle.
But what if he does? What better spot than Green Bay? Great weather.
If your aunt had nuts, she'd be your uncle.
Wow. Write that down, listeners. Wisdom from the tech guy. Huh. Goni, what do you think about that? Yeah.
Goni, stay quiet if you think you're the least knowledgeable fantasy football guy here.
He looks like Zoolander. Giving us blue steel.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Oh, man. Do you think it's something to do with the fact that he's balancing his camera on blocks and solo cups?
Oh, man.
Shit.
I think we're just. I think we're gonna end it here. I don't even want to splice in at it. We're at about an hour. It's about where we wanted to be. We got through the rookie draft essentially, as far as who you can trust and who you can't in a redraft and in a dynasty. We're gonna start next episode. We're gonna start ranking our quarterbacks. We're gonna start with quarterbacks, right?
Quarterbacks, let's do it.
Quarterbacks. We are going to rank the top 15 quarterbacks. We're going to all do it separately. May have some consensus. I doubt it, knowing us. We're going to tell you who you can get as a steal. We're going to tell you guys that we feel like can break into that top 15 that maybe you're not looking for, or guys that are going to perform well above their ADP. And hopefully, I know quarterbacks aren't necessarily like the top go-to, but it might be. I mean, we'll help you out if you're in a super flex, in a two quarterback draft. They're immensely important.
Immensely.
So we'll give you some help on that. We appreciate y'all listening through all the technical difficulties and random rants. We're gonna lock it up. I promise. It'll get cleaner. I promise. Just stick around and be around for these doing bets at the end of the year. Y'all don't want to miss it. Appreciate y'all.
Mad Mob.
Mad Mob.